friends and lovers. Hopefully you enjoyed the first part of our Christmas spectacular. If you want to hear all of our ratings for all of the episodes we did this year up until Daddywood, that's where you should go. This picks up off on Black Mirror. And it also features a lot of the guest ratings that we've had for this year. It's been a great time. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and you're having a great time. And we'll see you in 2020. You know what? I talk about this all the time as our golden age of episodes. We had John Wick, Archer, Deadwood, and Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Hey, I feel like all the great shows we've covered, I introduced them to you.
Wow.
And I'm going to hold that.
Hang on, no, because in the maths of that, you have watched more than I have watched.
Yeah.
So you're bound to introduce more than I.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that I didn't contribute.
Okay.
I am carrying this podcast on my motherfucking weak shoulders.
Either way, Black Mirror is a bloody brilliant show.
It was.
When it moved to Netflix, it does have some good episodes here and there, but the intrinsic Black Mirror, the untainted version, when it was still on B,
You mean when it was tainted by
C,
America?
it was amazing. 3 episodes a season and just brilliant writing. They had time. They had time to direct it. They had time to write what the fuck they wanted to write on this. They didn't have to release a season every year.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Mirror was something that we looked forward to whenever it came out. Even so now, but then you get Miley Cyrus in the episode and you're like, what the fuck did they do to Black Mirror?
It was all right, but it's also like you could have done better.
Yeah,
right?
and that's why I'd give Black Mirror an 8. It could have been a 9.
Come here. Let's wank and flick each other off.
I'm assuming that means you also give it an 8.
Yeah. Get with the program, dude.
Oh, I'm in the program with the program.
And, you know, like, what's the incentive? What's the incentive of listening to an episode of KT and maybe, not really, OT, rating things? This is it, guys. I didn't really fully express how I felt in the Black Mirror episode. So you're going to hear it on this episode and also in this video. They Americanized that shit.
They did.
And however you want to explain it, it watered down the complexity of the concepts of technology. It became a social media ranking of each other, which was quite interesting, but it really didn't dig beneath the depths of what technology can really do, right? Even that Bill Burr comedy special, that's a callback to earlier, he talked about sex robots, right? There's so much that we can explore in regards to technology before Robot Jesus takes the wheel and just decimates all of us, right? And there's so much that Black Mirror can do. And even in that episode, you know, we shared, because it's an anthology sort of series, we didn't really tackle it the way that we tackle other shows, right? So we chose one episode each. I'm putting two... whatever. We chose one episode each, and one of mine was really humanistic, and it was a case study of grief. And if you don't tend to your grief, how that can be detrimental to your own mental health.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? And yours was more about the relationship and how you would fuck everything up, but that's a story for another day. Go and listen to our episode. Hang the DJ is his favorite episode. I feel like, you know, a lot of the quality that we enjoyed, Hallelujah, again, because we talked about Daniel Kaluuya, it really suffered in order to appeal to a wider audience, right? And I think that's as much, you know, shots that I want to take in regards to Black Mirror, but that's just personally how I feel about it.
Yeah, rightly so.
So let's go on to our next episode. So we had a lot of light, fun sort of episodes. This is the second docuseries. I guess whatever you want to classify it as, it was based on a true story.
Yep.
Where you have, coined by Oprah, the Exonerated Five. In the series, directed by Ava DuVernay, called When They See Us.
This was heavy watching.
It was fucking heavy.
And the fact that we had to take a break after watching the first episode, we were like, nah, we're not watching back to back unless you love being depressed. It made me feel things. It made me feel anger. It made me feel like I didn't understand how this could happen in a system that was made to be just. And I guess that was my naivete playing a bit of it. So I was deeply triggered by this, and the fact that it got me so much, I would give it a 9.
Wow. I gave it an 8.
Yeah, fair enough.
8?
It's not an easy watch. It's rewatchability value is next to none. Like, unless you want to be depressed and cry all the time.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can rewatch it. But the reason why I gave it an 8 is I don't think I can rewatch it. And if I do, it's going to take some time.
I think this is one of the ones that I had an exception to it in terms of rewatchability, just because it's more geared towards truth. And man, it just really hurt my feelings. And it's one of those things that you really don't expect to happen. And you usually hope that the law would probably find its way to the light, but it just failed. And I was sad, broken.
Yeah. You think we've covered more sad stuff?
I think we did.
I really feel like we didn't, but like the more that I think about it, I think we have covered some real deep sort of topics.
Yeah.
And that actually shows range, right?
Oh, for sure. The more you have to talk about and dig deep into yourself to try and not only express how you resonated with it, but how it made you feel at the moment and how that affected you. So, yeah.
But I think it's nice. I think it's nice that, a lot of people that enjoy our show talk about how fun and hilarious we are, but we do have episodes of depth, and I like that. I like that we can cover everything.
Yeah. And that's why it's so shocking to me that the next episode we did was a single man.
It was also to round up Pride Month as well.
Yeah, because it's not a light movie per se.
Well, we were going to do like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and we were going to do like some other sort of films, but I've wanted you to watch this film for so long. And it really spoke to me in ways that don't even make sense. Like, obviously, if you're a brown woman and you're seeing a brown woman going through struggles that you've been through, it's very easy to relate to. I didn't necessarily have that with a single man, but I was still able to relate and have the messages resonate with me in regards to a single man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like the techniques used to film this and to direct this just make it even more expressive in terms of what they wanted to showcase in the movie. And it's one of those things that really sat deep with me. And one of the more technical analysis that we've done of a movie, I think, to date, just because it brought out
like the coloring.
Yeah, it brought out film studency kind of thing, and we really went deep into it. And I think it's one of my favorite episodes, just because it allowed us to talk more about what it really did and how it really expressed itself in different angles rather than dialogue. And I stand for that. So this movie was a solid 8 for me in my book.
I ranked this film a 9.
Oh.
It is a ever so often masterpiece. And it was actually directed by the Tom Ford. Someone that really understands the aesthetic and how important it is in regards to your emotional sort of buy-in, right? Because I read it and I didn't really realize it. But again, obviously you can listen to that episode. But, I know in a salacious sort of manner, I talk about Colin Firth a lot.
Hey.
But he, right? As if you wouldn't welcome him in our bedchambers though.
Yeah.
I would watch you two go at it.
Oh, you're welcome then, Colin Firth.
I really would. And Colin Firth is going through a separation at this time. So I just want to say, hopefully you're okay. Emotionally, sexually, whatever you want. I'm here. I was trying to be real about this, you fucking dick.
I'm real as well.
Like J-Lo, I'm real.
Mm-hmm.
But A Single Man really hit all the right notes. I don't want to be that person. So I'm so sorry if this comes off really badly. But OT and I have come across our own sort of struggles being in an interracial like sort of relationship, right? Me being with like a full on like African man, like not someone that's in Australia, like someone that's like fully like African, like Kenyan, right? Like obviously, and you kind of hear it in our Master of None episode, but we don't really share too much about it. But like we've gone through our sort of discrimination, even against like loved ones that we know. So I kind of felt that on a level that I needed to feel in order to wholly immerse myself in a single man. So I really appreciated watching that film.
Yeah, me too.
So that was quite a nice one to round up Proud Month, because again, it could have been like a nicer, more campy sort of film. But we bring the depth wherever we can. But then we wanted to make it more light, and we actually covered an anime. Naruto and Naruto Shippuden.
Oh wow, that's one of the most popular animes out there at the moment.
It really is, but then sometimes when you think the most popular, you think maybe the accolades aren't due, but it most certainly is, especially in the topic of Naruto. I don't know how you guys feel about anime, because we watch everything. Like we literally watch everything. Was it Maktab? Maktab?
Yep. The Israeli movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we watch everything. Like we watch every single thing that we have available to us. So anime is something that we watch all the time. OT has what I call baby animes. Like My Hero Academia.
That is not a baby anime.
That's a fucking baby anime. If you've been through shit, what can you relate to in regards to those children?
I've been through shit and I'm clearly related to.
You're going through shit right now, I can see.
But yeah, Naruto is one of the best animes out there, and it's like the sort of the gateway drug into anime. It's easy to get into. It's easily rewatchable. It resonates with you. It's the story of the most. It's one of the best underdog sort of animes out there.
Yeah.
You'll be rooting for Naruto for days.
But I think what you also need to mention is, of course, you want the protagonist to be wholly, fully dimensional, right? If you don't have a protagonist that doesn't have multiple dimensions to them, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But aside from that, a lot of the secondary and tertiary characters actually had a whole backstory to them.
They really did. And that's why my rating for Naruto would be a 9, because I think it's one of the best out there.
Yes. And it's a yes, not a yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much I'm feeling right now. We also did a bonus episode because Naruto was our 20th episode. So we did a bonus anime episode where we talked all things anime with Anime Nerd and also Savage Otaku. And I was able to get hold of Anime Nerd, and he actually gave his rating.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to guess?
I think Anime gave it an 8.
Yes. He gave it an 8. If you are wanting to like dip your baby cute toe into anime, definitely listen to our anime special with Anime Nerd and Savage Otaku, because we talks about a lot. Whether you are fully immersed and you love prison school like Savage Otaku, or you're dabbling and your first anime was Sailor Moon like myself, there's definitely a lot for everyone in regards to anime. So definitely check out those episodes, particularly our bonus episode that we have as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a great episode. And again, we do have a sort of formula that we try to play off. So we try to do something more famous, something that even if you haven't watched anything we've watched, at least within like 5 to 10 episodes, we try to have something that everyone has watched. And that encapsulated Titanic.
Which is one
Did
of the
we wanna
first
cover
movies I
it?
went to watch in the cinema,
Yeah, I don't
which
even,
had an intermission in it.
You're very fancy.
I am.
Like, I don't even know if we wanted to cover it, but it was quite interesting because a lot of the time people do listen to that episode and give us feedback in regards to that.
Yeah, they do, and it's one of the most biggest like blockbuster movie that in my generation at least that you felt that just pushed the limit farther. It was groundbreaking in its time, and Titanic for me would stand the test of time because it's still rewatchable, up to date with its effect. It's still not as bad as we've seen other things that are more even recent. So, and that's why Titanic for me is a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Ew.
What would you give Titanic?
A 6.
Wow. You're really harsh.
The barriers that they broke technologically in regards to the film, I think deserves accolades. In regards to the actual narrative of the film, no thank you. I will not take any slice, thank you.
Oh, wow.
I didn't care for it. Because again, like you mentioned many times in that episode, we have RMS Titanic. So why do I need to watch this film?
Because it's theatrical. It really does have great entertainment value.
Yeah, but no but.
Yeah. No matter what, it has one of the best soundtracks ever made. So there is that.
Yeah, nah. Sorry, no. Like, I love the soundtrack, but that doesn't make the film. So there you go. In regards to Titanic, the only thing that I really enjoyed about Titanic is because it is hilarious what OT allows or what he is comfortable with. Because I'll be like, dicks, all the dicks. And he's fine with that. He's not comfortable when I talk about periods. But apparently he's okay when I talk about tits. And in this episode in particular, I talk about real ass titties and the drawing with Rose and how her titties look like sludge, right? These are all the sound bites for all our episodes, but definitely go and listen to our Titanic episode. Whether you liked it or if you didn't like it, you'll probably enjoy that episode more because we didn't fucking care for it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you rated it a 7. The next episode we covered was Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, one of the best movies ever.
Fan fave.
It really is. It was really refreshing to watch this movie. And that's why, in my opinion, it's a solid 8 in my book.
I actually gave it a 9.
Oh, wow.
There's not a lot of animated films that adults would watch that would actually enjoy it. Like, I would take Into the Spider-Verse 100 times over watching Frozen 2 once.
I've not even watched a single instance of Frozen, so...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there are different animated sort of films that you can watch, and there are some that you just wouldn't care about.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so beautifully made. Like, I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't like the movie.
And if you don't like Into the Spider-Verse, please don't talk to us. Like... Don't email us, don't tweet us, because we fucking love that film. And it's one of my favorite episodes as well that we covered too. Speaking of exciting films, we have 2 Lion Kings that we're going to be rating right now. We have the 2019 version and the 1994 version.
Oh, the 2019 version, I would give an 8. A 7, sorry.
No, it's too late. You said 8.
I'd give it a 7. And the 1994 version, I'd give a 9.
Interesting. I gave 2019 and 1994 both an 8.
Oh.
Because like I said in the Lion King episode, if you had the technology to take more photos of yourself as a child, would you not? And that's literally what that film is.
For sure.
So there you go. Interesting. We average the same though.
Yeah, we do.
We both average at an 8. We have great maths, by the way.
Quick maths.
Quick maths. Speaking of quick, we have Predestination, which we had a guest, OT.
Oh.
Do you remember who our guest was?
Tommy Tom.
Tommy Tom from History of Aotearoa. as my people like to say. Let's go through our ratings and you can guess what he rated it.
Oh, I'd rate Predestination a 9.
Oh, me too.
I think Tom gave it a 9 as well.
He gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, rounded off to a 9.
Yeah, but Tom is also my arch nemesis and we also fight over shit, especially Vikings. So you can suck my nothing, Tom. But this is the review he gave. Predestination is a rare time travel film that actually doesn't balls it up. The key to the movie is the character him or herself and whether there is truly predestined rather than the time travel. The gradual reveals of the film as the dots start to get connected is something I've rarely experienced watching other movies. Those for some, a lot of the movie will make people sick and feel weird, but I love it for the same reasons. Though it can be hard to follow or understand, the first half hour or so can be quite slow for some, but the payoff is really worth it when you can get through it. In short, it is one of, if not the best, serious time travel movies you will watch. I would thoroughly recommend.
Very nice. I'm poignant.
Can I just say Tom exceeded the word limit I gave him, but whatever. We will continue to fight each other, Tom.
Yeah, but Predestination was a really good movie.
Oh, it was fucking great. I feel like I didn't like Looper. I feel like I really
you can't
didn't
even
like.
compare the two.
But you know what I mean? Like time travel films are a genre within themselves. So when I saw a film that did it well, yes, I'm going to give you all of my accolades. I'm going to throw all of my ancient panties at you.
And the fact that people are still discussing the theories of predestination now just shows you that how big of an effect it had.
And this was very similar to Upgrade. It was a small Australian production. Definitely watch Predestination. We're not going to spoil it for you, but the only spoiling we can do for you is to watch the film. It's fucking great. And you might enjoy our conversation after. The jury is still out in regards to that. The next episode, OT.
I think one of my favorite shows ever.
And you know what? I feel like TV shows, there's so much emotional investment when it comes to TV shows. Because you spend more time with the characters.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be to its demise, but in this fucking case, every fucking thing.
Yeah. And I think Spartacus in this case is one of the best TV shows I have watched personally and one of the most connected I am to in so many aspects. And that's why my rating for this would be the highest of the bunch with a massive 10.
Wow.
You're not getting better than Spartacus in this at all.
Oh my God, Jesus
In terms
Christ.
of pure entertainment,
What the fuck?
in terms of rewatchability, Spartacus has it all.
Oh my God.
And if you're watching it during the time it was released, and when you're waiting for either when you heard about Andy's sickness and you're waiting for him to get better, the angst, the anticipation, you were so much involved in this. Those are brief moments where he was fully better, or we thought he was better and it was going to film as expected, and then it took a turn for the worst. And in that sort of roller coaster and what they produced and what they managed to do as a crew and team, having lost one of their leads, and the fact that they wanted to actually stop production just because they didn't feel right going ahead on without him. It's one of the most human things that you'd ever see in in filmmaking, in TV production, and Spartacus just has it all, and I love it. I will rewatch it probably in the next few months. I've watched it more than 10 times, and I'll continue throughout my adulthood. So this is something that I feel completely passionate about, and that's why it's a fucking 10.
I love you so much.
You're welcome.
You're the fucking best. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
I rated it a 9 only because it's not their fault, but Liam McIntyre was no Andy Whitfield.
I didn't mind him. And I
No, but I know. And we talked about it in this episode. It's more me.
Yeah.
How dare you? Don't accept that so quickly. How dare you? But man, like you couldn't do that to me. It just wasn't fair. I understand that, rest in peace. He needed to be replaced. But Jesus, man, it was hard, and that's why I rated it a 9.
Yeah.
What I love about our Spartacus episode is we actually talk about the OT Bop. Shout outs to Cooking with Grief podcast for directing us to the OT Bop. And we also talk a lot about Australian actors as well. So if you're wanting to hear that, you should definitely listen to our Spartacus episode. Even if you've listened to it, go and listen again. It is the most sexual. Oh, we get sexual in every episode.
Yeah.
We're sexual beings. And if that bothers you, so be it. That's an Archer reference. But that was a very essential episode we definitely needed to cover. Okay, so a new classic, if that's what you want to call it, that we covered was...
A shout out to Iggy Azalea then.
Wow, look at Oti. Again, he knows references from years ago.
Her album, It's a New Classic, was one of the biggest things ever. So
I was actually going to reference it, but I'm like, that's from a few years ago. Maybe that's a bit tacky. And you actually referenced it.
Well, there you go.
This is turning into a mammoth of an episode. So our patrons will definitely get this full schlong of an episode, but I guess we'll decide how much gets into the actual episode.
Yeah.
Right? Let's move on over to some lactating, delightful, satisfying episode, The Boys.
It started slow.
It
won
fucking
our
started
hearts.
slow. And OT tricked me and listened to the episode. But he was like, let's watch one episode, let's get to one other. And then we got to episode 5 and I'm like, I'm fully in now.
It's just brilliant once you stick to it. And even more so that the fact that we've read the actual comic books for this makes you appreciate The Boys even more. It's one of the best shows out there at the moment. It defies to be different, and I would always give props to a show like that. And that's why my rating for this is a 9.
Me too. Me too. Krieger reference. Because you know what? There's not like, we watch a lot of stuff, but there's not a lot that we're watching on a current week to week sort of basis. Not necessarily with The Boys, because that all came out at once, right? But by the time they were getting interviewed for like Comic-Cons and all that sort of fucking shit, they were already filming the second season.
Yeah.
What takes them so long?
I don't know, but
YouTubers produce, film, and all of that fucking shit themselves. Why are you taking so long for a show? Because we watched the season 2 trailer.
yeah.
And it had terror in it.
We want to see some terror.
The doggy. Only John Wick can kill a dog off for emotional payoff. No one else can do that, please. I don't want to see dogs dying fictionally or in real life. But The Boys definitely gets a 9.
Nice.
The next episode that we covered was quite a fun one. And it was also another guest episode with M from Verbal Diorama.
Oh, well, awesome, man. Are you going to read her rating now?
I love all of them.
Or do you want me to give you my rating?
Let's give each other's ratings and I'll read to you hers.
Okay. I would give Bridget Jones a 6.
Don't change your podcatcher. I left that silence in for effect.
Tell me how
Did you say a 6?
Yeah.
Vomit. Okay, let's digress for like 2 seconds. What romantic comedy would you rate over this?
Most rom-coms I'd pretty much just give a 6 because it in value they lack a lot, so I'm not sure it'll ever get beyond that. And that's why this is one of the better ones that I've seen. But in the end of the day, it still didn't really fill me with any sort of satisfaction, and that's why it's a 6 for me. I don't think I'll be rewatching it anytime soon at all. I don't know. It just didn't do much for me.
I rated it an 8.
Oh, so not that different.
There's not a lot of rom-coms that I would rate over this. I think you've got mail, aside from how dated it is. Not you've got email. Not, or
You got served.
Or you've... Wow. Are you quite done, sir?
Yep.
Do you want a fork?
Mm-hmm.
I'll stick it in you because you're done, mate. You were done. But I really do love Bridget Jones. It's funny because I'm very cynical, but I've been with OT for like almost 10 years. But there's a part of me that's just like, oh, you know, so I really love watching rom-coms where you see, you know, a protagonist like Bridget Jones being really clumsy, finding love. Isn't that what we all want?
Yeah.
Have I found it or am I still looking?
Oh, you found it.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read M's review. It's slightly dated nowadays, but otherwise an accurate representation of being a single woman in your 30s living in the UK, especially the part about being eaten by Alsatians. Also, Colin Firth, I like you just as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Nice boys do kiss like that, but I appreciate if you've proved it. Do you want to guess what she rated it?
I think she gave it an 8 as well.
7.
Oh, I told you. If M can give it a 7, I should not be castigated for giving it a 6.
Again, Colin Firth, emotionally, physically, sexually, however you need me to support you, I will. All right. So this is one of my biggest #pod regrets. Regrets?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? Sylvester?
Yeah. And I'm Tweety. So tweet along, man.
We actually covered 30 Rock on our 29th episode, not our 30th episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that fucking pissed me off. But anyway, we covered one of my other lady loves, Tina Fey from 30 Rock. Tread carefully, mate.
Yeah. Just because once we met, it was my second attempt of watching this, I would give 30 Rock an 8. It's a solid show. Has a lot of smart, witty comments in there, and
Apparently not enough.
Anyone would love it. That's why I'm giving it an 8.
This is how black people review movies. Beep, boop, boop, boop. You're not allowed to laugh at that reference because you gave it a fucking 8.
8 is a good number.
I don't know what to do with this. We started this podcast, but fucking hell, you're done, dude.
What would you rate?
You don't want to guess?
I think you gave it a 10 or 9. A 9.
I gave it a fucking 10. If we're talking about shows that are comedies that have really solid writing, that in many cases can interweave social commentary with really bitey sort of character development, then yes, 30 Rock should always be the case study.
Just shows you, my only 10 in there so far has been Spartacus, and your 10 so far has been 30 Rock.
No, I've given a few 10s already.
Oh, really?
I gave it 10 to Money Heist.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was just one.
Doesn't feel that special, does it now?
Speaking of special, we are going to OT's favorite villain, Pennywise.
Oh, dear, help me.
There are many times we regret, because as much as we love going to the cinema, OT is not a basic bitch, and he can't go to a normal cinema. He needs to go onto the ones where you can like recline, you can get a 3-course meal, get a bottle of wine. He is not a cheap date, guys. So if guys or gals, if you're considering to take OT out, get your shillings ready. And man, It Chapter 2. We watched both and we're going to rate both, but fucking hell, man.
Oh, all right. It was pretty ordinary. I'd give it a 6.
Nice.
For It Chapter 2, again, much worse than the first one. I'd give it a 5. So
Nice.
I just don't get the hula baloo and the hype over this, so I didn't jump on the hype wagon, and it was really underwhelming. And Pennywise isn't a fucking character you base a movie around because it's fucking weak. Then again,
Because OT is scared of Chucky and not Pennywise, but anyway. Okay, the next episode that we did was another collaboration from our gal pals, Sunny and also Brandy from the Book of Lies podcast.
oh, The Big Short.
Yes. So
Ooh.
let's do our ratings and then I'll read their review.
I'd give The Big Short 7.
Oh, Wow. You are really not giving any points today.
No, 7 is a solid number for The Big Short.
I gave it an 8.
Oh. Now
Was
I'm
I-
curious what Book of Lies said about it.
Well, personally, the reason why I gave it an 8 is because I actually learned shit. Once the movie finished, I forgot what I learned, but I still learned it while I was watching the film. So, Book of Lies said it delves into the deception of subprime mortgages, which affected thousands of families in the US, and demonstrates what can and will happen to an economy when greed is allowed to run rampant with no oversight. What do you think they rated it?
I think they gave it a 7 as well.
A 9.
Whoa!
Interesting.
Brandy and
interesting.
Sunny, come on, calm down. Calm down.
Well, there you go. The jury is out, apparently. Again, so now we try to switch it up to a TV show. So we covered the US Office.
Oh.
This was a very divisive episode. I didn't realize that our opinions or our hot takes was so muy caliente that some people couldn't handle it. Apparently, us talking about the beloved Jim and Pam is an issue.
Yeah. And I saw that coming from the get-go, but The Office is really great, especially the American one. You fall in love with Michael Scott, and that's why this, for me, has to have nothing less but a 9.
I gave it an 8.
Whoa.
Like, it's good, but it's not like,
You gave Daddy Rock a 10, and you gave this an
piss
8.
off. Are you really talking about the writing structure of these shows?
I'm just saying, the first 4 seasons of
The
The
US
Office were pretty
Office-
much one of the best TVs you could
The US
watch anywhere.
Office is wholly relatable to the mass amount of people. But what that means is it's low-hanging fruit. Come and fucking fight me.
Long-hanging fruit or not, it's a fruit nonetheless.
This
A
is
fruit that needed grabbing.
This is the hill I will die on. I would rather die on this hill than you making fun of Sir Patrick Stewart. Listen to our Master of None episode, which we will talk about in a second.
All right.
The next episode that we covered was another box office film, Joker.
Joker was super deep, more than people wanted or expected. But then again, you have to give some sort of creative freedom to people so they can come up with the best sort of movie they can be able to do. And that's why I love Joker, and that's why my rating for this would be a solid 8.
I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9.
I can see that.
And again, I know a lot of our pals are fellow podcasters, and a lot of them are also movie review podcasters. I listened to like 15 episodes of podcasters talking about Joker. It was a lot. It was a lot. And what our episode turned into was more like sort of introspective and about mental health. And about how, it was funny because a lot of the times we talk about the relatable villain, starting off with Killmonger in Black Panther into full development, talking about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah.
Right? Some people felt like that was a bit derivative, but I really enjoyed that episode in particular.
Yeah.
I like that we could explore that. A lot of the time people talked about Joker because of the lack of levity. Just because there's no levity in a film doesn't mean that it's not a great film. It might not necessarily be a film that you enjoy, that you can watch again, but it doesn't undo the key messages that were laid out during the performance of that film.
Yeah, agreed.
So that was quite an interesting one as well. The next 2 episodes are dedicated to a TV series that meant everything to us.
I sure did.
More so from a storytelling point of view. So we had a Wire episode where we actually talk about The Wire, but we also had a bonus episode where we had the Why I'm Single podcast, particularly Amy D and Chuck, who are from Baltimore, that really shared a lot more detail and much more frame of reference than we could ever do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our ratings and then we'll go through theirs.
The Wire is a solid 10 for me in my book.
Oh, I'll take another slice of OT every day.
It's rewatchable. It's witty. It's the storyline. Like everything about The Wire is so good.
Mm-hmm.
You would not regret watching it. It's just a 10. It's brilliant.
It is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in regards to the Why I'm Single podcast, we have a 10 from Amy D. She gives it, so if we're going to give an abstract review, I give it 2 corner boys, a bag of crab chips, orange soda, and a lake trout sandwich. And then we also have Chuck giving it a high 9, only because the last season felt forced. I actually liked the last season of The Wire.
I like the last season too.
But again, we don't have that frame of reference. So, and that's also important in regards to when you're watching something. So, what a great, and that's the only show that we've covered in a consecutive 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it deserves it. Fucking hell.
It really
deserves
does.
You know, there's that Family Guy cutaway where they say if you're not talking about The Wire, you're talking about Breaking Bad. And Breaking Bad can suck my dick.
I'm the one who knocks, motherfucker.
Unless we have a Patreon that comes on and makes us talk about that show, or, you know, OT dicks me down, we are not going to be covering.
Or just
Breaking
listen
Bad.
too late to the show. They do a brilliant job at covering each and every episode.
Yes, Olivia and Michael. And we did a guest spot on their show as well. Yes, OT. We love a strong guesting queen. So let's go to the next episode that we covered. And this was rounding out Halloween, where we actually, it was interesting. You actually chose this one.
Yes. Because I was tired of listening to fucking Pennyworth and I wanted to remind
Pennywise. We like Pennyworth.
Oh, sorry. Pennywise. I was freaking tired of Pennywise and I wanted to remind our audience that good horror villains exist, good horror movies exist, and one of those was none other than Freddy versus Jason.
I think it was a great one to do. Can I just say? A lot of the times, you know, OT is the fucking sub. I wouldn't even her because that's literally true. So it was nice to have him grab the reins.
Oh yeah, super dumb all the way. And this is why for Freddy vs. Jason, just because of the time that it came out or the time that I wanted us to do it, I would give it a strong 8. I was gonna say 7, but nah, pushed it over the edge with an 8.
Whoa. You need to evaluate yourself. The way you were rating things is just unpredictable.
Well, it's an 8. It's an 8 in terms of
The
pure
Foyer Reference household
enjoyability.
is a fine institution, but you were proving otherwise.
All right, tell me your rating for it.
6.
Huh? Like, you know,
I'm never going to watch it again.
for what it's worth, like for what it is, it delivers in every single aspect. It's not trying to be anything else a la Pennywise.
I need to go back and listen to all the things that you ranked less than 8 because come on, dude.
Like, it's enjoyable. On a Friday fucking night after work, and you come on and put this on, you are going to have a good time.
And
You're
shout out
going
to
enjoy a good slasher horror flick that would blow your mind. And it's pure fun. It doesn't take itself seriously. You'll enjoy yourself. An 8 in my book any day, every day.
Yeah, but he has a limited series. Shout out to Kelly Rowland, OT's first wet dream.
Yes, and Kelly I should probably bump this to a 9 then.
Like a cup size, it's fine, whatever. The next episode that we did was with another guest, Ben from Filmbusters.
Oh.
I coined as the Holy Trinity, but they prefer tripod. If you're nasty. I think that was Beast of No Nation. Watch Beast of No Nation if you haven't.
Yeah.
It's fucking creepy in some parts, but whatever. Where we covered The Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
And that was a first time watch for both of us, right?
Yep. I've heard of it. Like, you could listen to the episode and we went into super many details into it.
So what would you rate Big Lebowski?
I would rate it an 8.
Only?
Yeah. Like, it it didn't really resonate with me that much. I found Walter sort of annoying, Big Lebowski a bit too nonchalant about everything. So yeah, an 8, nothing higher.
Wow. I rated it a 9. And I'm very proud
Kiss
of that.
ass.
I will kiss all of the ass, except for Donnie. Speaking of, let me read Ben's review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he gave his score, which you will have to guess. And then he said, why? As if, why would he give that score? Because it's a reminder that we live in a batshit crazy world where everyone and everything around you might be going to shit, but as long as you're at peace with yourself, it'll all work out in the end. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Do you want to guess?
I feel like he's the same as you, and he gave it a 9 as well.
He gave it a fucking 10.
Oh, Ben!
Ben!
Oh my God! Never go full. I don't know. I was gonna go somewhere offensive with that.
Did you know where the train was leaving?
Yeah, I did, but then my filters kicked in. So
Okay, good on
Ben,
you.
no, it cannot be a 10.
Ben, we fucking love ya. Also, everyone else, listen to our Big Lebowski episode because it also explains how and why I keep calling people Britons. And it actually explains that, and Ben does it quite perfectly. And we also reference a TV show. So I guess if you're interested, you can listen to the rest of that episode. We had a back-on-back collaboration, OT.
Mm-hmm.
The next show that we covered was, they say, this is a big, rich pod.
Power, power, power.
Give all of the power. You've got the power, OT.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the immaculate Colby Told Me podcast. Obviously, Colby Mack. He was onto our podcast. And we appreciate it. And we're satiated all the same. Thank you for coming onto our podcast. Let's rate it, and then I'll read you his review.
Power. Power is a solid 8 in anyone's book.
Only an 8?
Yeah, I'm give it an 8. It has some dodgy seasons here and there, but other than that,
I gave it a 9.
oh wow.
There aren't many shows that we are watching on a week-to-week basis where we are satiated throughout.
Agreed.
Compared to Empire, we're never going to cover Empire. So what are you going to rate Empire?
Empire's a fucking 4, mate.
Okay, good. I think we tried watching Empire the other day, and it's like we haven't watched it for like 2-3 years, but it's exactly the same plot.
No, let
It's
me
very
rephrase
soap
that. We
opera.
tried to watch the most recent episode, and that just I was
It's
like,
very soap opera.
we definitely made the right decision dropping it 5 years ago or whatever, how long that was.
It was really bad. Okay, so let me read Colby's review. Power's later season may not be its most powerful, but it's powerful adjacent. It feels the impending end to this iteration of the story isn't allowing the writers the freedom to let the characters think and behave organically, which makes a lot of the plot points feel contrived. Chalk that up to almost any of a series. However, the characters we've come to know and love are still magnetic enough to keep you watching. The all points back to Ghost and the ultimate cliffhanger is paying off to the close for some story arcs while setting up the intrigue and shift in perspective coming January. Power Season 6 Part 1 is still sexy, still good, still violent, just not as great of an effect as Season's Part.
Oh.
So do you want to guess?
I think he gave it an 8 as well.
7.
Oh.
Colby, I have qualms with you, sir.
I don't have any qualms. I can see that.
No, I have qualms. At least an 8, surely.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on to our next episode, which was delicious in every regard. 300.
300. Wow, it was interesting. It was groundbreaking at the time. I
Oh,
gave
yeah.
308.
I gave 309.
Oh. And then 300 Rise of the Empire is what I'd give a 6.
6. Because it's still at Themistocles
Yeah.
as well. So he gets some sort of credit, right? Surely. But I definitely gave it a 9, and then I gave Rise of an Empire a 6. we're getting very close, guys. If you're still here, thank you so much. But let's continue. We are almost there to climax. And if you climaxed already, send us a tweet in gratuity.
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby.
One of the best movies we've watched of late.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is when I told you I wanted to watch this because it reminded us of what the early noughties used to be in terms of pure entertainment value. A strong movie and that had deeper meaning that was on surface level. And I loved $1 Million Baby and I wanted Katie to experience the same. And that's why this gets a 9 in my book.
A 9?
Yeah.
I need a full picture of everything you've rated. Wow.
What would you give this?
An 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Wow. It's a 9 in my book all day.
Like, you know, when you watch something, you can wholly feel it in its emotion, but I can still walk away from it. A 9 to me has to last with me.
Yeah, maybe so. And this would
No,
last.
because I felt intense emotion.
Do you not think about the $1 Million Baby and think about like applying it into your sort of day-to-day life? Like the $1 Million Baby left me with such a deep sort of sense of feel that I've not felt in a few. And it's one of those movies that I would always think about, and it's something that I'd probably rewatch in another couple of months as well. Like it's amazing, and the fact that I didn't rewatch it for such a long time just made me just reminded me of how good it is and how rewatchable and how it stands the test of fucking time.
I get what you're saying, but once I was done with the film, it was done.
All right,
And that's why I didn't give it a 9.
okay.
Let's move on. And we are 2 episodes away from the end, guys. So again, whether you got this far or whether you didn't get this far, we welcome and thank you so much. We have our episode that we've recorded the most. 3 fucking attempts. Master of None.
Master of None, Aziz Ansari. It's a funny little ditty, and I enjoyed it.
Did you call it a little ditty?
Yep, and I would give it an 8.
An 8.
Yep.
Same. I really love that episode that we recorded so much that we had to record it 3 times. That's how much we loved it, because I think if we didn't really like it, we would have to just give up.
Yeah, probably.
The pod gods have punished us, and we deserve it. Like, we've done a whole lot of filthy shit, so it's understandable. But I really like that episode because, you know, a lot of the time, except for Office Space, you know, we do focus a lot on the characters and the overarching sort of intention of the show or the film. But in Master of None, there's no way not to feel introspective about it. And, you know, myself having immigrant parents, you know, parents that have migrated to Australia, I really felt it.
Yeah, I felt it too. And that's why I gave it such a high rating.
Oh, I rated it 8. And hello, it is Yuletide cheer. It is Christmas time, my loves. And we rounded out this year, unless we have time and or energy to cover another episode. We finished off this year with a Christmas film, arguable, because again, I don't believe it's a Christmas film. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, one of the best movies ever made.
One
of the best Christmas movies ever made. Let me rephrase that. I grew up with this movie. It has so much meaning in my life. And the fact that I've watched this over probably 40 times just goes to show you.
How old are you?
I'm not going to talk about its rewatchability value because clearly it's there. Even though I was forced to watch it because we had only one channel, I still think that this was a good movie. And that's why I'd give it a 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a cute Christmas tradition, but maybe not.
Tell me your rating for this.
Do you want to guess?
I think you'd say a 6 or some shit.
7. Listen, it literally came out last week. So if you were living in linear time, you would have heard the episode if you had a chance. If you didn't, that's fine. We still love you. But wow. If I disregard the fact that it's a Christmas film, it is a nice sort of insular story about a guy that has unfulfilled potential, that really
Who lives in all of us.
maybe in you, fucking Popper.
Ah.
But if you really take that message of living the life that you want to live and not living with any sort of regrets. And again, Hail Satan, because there was a reference to Hail Satan about It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
And I understood it because we had watched the film before watching the documentary. So I enjoyed it. I think it was quite a nice cautionary tale. I do think it would fuck children up though. I don't think that that film is for children. But as a film overall, that's why I gave it such a high rating.
A high rating of a 7.
For that sort of film, it could have gotten less.
All right. I'll take where I can get it. And It's a Wonderful Life is nowhere better than we could end this podcast because it meant so much to me.
Don't do that.
And it's it just goes to show you how much Katie values me in this relationship to give me a 7.
Wow, are you for real?
Yeah.
Like 100%?
Mm.
Okay, well, what a lovely time. Dipping our toes in TV shows and films that we have covered this year.
Oh, for sure.
Again, I know we said it. Asante sana, maloa pito. We fucking love you guys so much for checking out our podcast. We are the little podcast that could.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do have a Patreon, but you don't have to be obliged to go into it. You know, OT loves technology, so he will continue to upgrade our podcast and we will continue to buy all of the streaming sort of platforms that we can. But if you do want to help anywhere along the way, then again, it is most welcome. And like we said in our Spartacus episode, you're more than welcome to sit on our Jupiter's cock.
Oh, for sure.
And we love you all just the same. Thank you so much. This was a fucking monstrous episode, so we'll definitely have to split it.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully you were having fun with all of your loved ones, whether they're your family, your chosen family, all of your friends. You know, if you ever want to chat to us, we're always around. I love a good fight. On Twitter and Instagram, we are For Your F Pod.
You can write us an email at hello@fypodcast.com.
And we'll see you guys next fucking year, 2020.
2020.
That's our fucking vision. Thank you so much, guys.
See ya.
Bye.